fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did show the tape. Put it on your website.
Put it on.
Put it on the website.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated.
I guarantee we're going to end fossil fuel. No more, no new fracking. And gradually move away from fracking.
And I think it's critically important on day one that we end any fossil fuel leases on public land.
What about stopping fracking and stopping pipeline infrastructure and
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
I have one final
Would it
question.
close down the oil industry?
falls.
Or would you close down the oil?
falls.
I would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I would transition. That is a big step. In terms of business, that's the biggest step.
Okay.
Because
We have
basically
one
what you're
final
saying
question.
is he is going to
President.
destroy the oil industry. Will you remember that, Texas? Will you
Okay.
remember that, Pennsylvania?
You know, we have to come together. That's why I'm running. I'm running as a proud Democrat for the Senate. So vote! Vote! Visit iwill.com/Ohio. God bless you.
Can somebody tell Joe, by the way, it's not a real website, and Joe, you're running for president, not senator, and by the way, that senator, the Mormon guy, is Mitt Romney, not some Mormon governor. Now, sadly, what we showed you, that's just from a couple of hours today, because every time that Joe actually leaves the basement bunker and stays out past 10 a.m., well, disaster ensues. Here's a quick reminder.
Folks, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday, and I want to thank you all. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330. We choose truth over facts. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Donald Trump does pose an excellent threat to this. It's not hypothetical.
This is pretty serious. By the way, these are way beyond an occasional campaign gaffe, and I am beginning, well, I'm more than a little worried that this man could represent a clear and present danger to this country. He's obviously not capable of leading. He's been hiding the entire campaign, and the corrupt media mob is covering for him. Joe wants to be the president of the United States of America. That would be the toughest job in the world, and at times, Joe doesn't seem to remember that he's even running for president, or what state he's in, or what day of the week it is. Does anyone really believe that if elected, that Joe Biden will actually be in control of anything?
What kind of country we're going to be? 4 more years of George, he is going to find ourselves in a position where if Trump gets elected, we're going to be in a different world.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
Spooky, 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 creepy. Good Beautiful Joe.
Oh, it's funny. It's Joe.
Come on, man. Candy's for the kids.
Maybe he forgot.
Wait a minute. You look familiar. Who are you?
Are we gonna let him get away with this?
She took everything.
Be careful. Ah, Joe, this could only happen to me. This could only happen. Thank you, thank you. In 2016, Pennsylvania voted to fire this corrupt political establishment, and you elected an outsider as president who is finally putting America first. That's okay, right? And if I don't sound like a typical Washington politician, it's because I'm not a politician. I guess that's why I got elected. If I don't always play by the rules of Washington and the Washington establishment, it's because I was elected to fight for you, and I fight harder for you than any president has ever fought. I believe that. One of the most important issues in this election is law and order. And you know about it well. You see what's going on in your large city. It's not good. And you have great police, but they're not allowed to do their job. This week, violent mobs of Biden supporters ransacked Philadelphia. Now, 4 members of the city council are pushing very hard to defund the Philadelphia police. They're defunding the police. And they're pushing very hard, and it could happen, we're watching. I don't think we'll let it happen. At some point, we can't let it happen. If Biden and Harris are elected, they will pass legislation to slash police funding. They're already trying to do it all over the country. Well, except in Republican cities and states, which are running beautifully without crime. Our opponents stand with take a look at it, the rioters and the anarchists and the looters. We stand with the heroes of law enforcement. We've been endorsed by almost every major law enforcement group in the country. Florida, Texas, New York's finest endorse us. First time they've ever endorsed a presidential candidate. The Chicago police, that's not easy to do. They endorsed. We have endorsements from everybody. During the debate, I said, Joe, what law group, any police group, anybody looking for law and order, did anybody endorse you? He couldn't answer the question. Then he was bailed out by the anchor, right? He was bailed out. I said, Joe, say the words law and order. He wouldn't do it. He didn't want to lose the radical left. I'm not just running against Joe Biden. I'm running against the left-wing media, the big tech giants, the rhinos. You know what a rhino is, right? Republican in name only. We got a couple of them. There aren't too many of them left. They were on respirators, actually. And the Washington swamp, which is much deeper and much more vicious than we ever thought even possible. On Tuesday, November 3rd, maybe you do it sooner, but I think this group wants November 3rd, a fall election. Of course, now that our United States Supreme Court has delayed everything, it's going to be a very interesting evening. And I wonder what happens during that period of delay with the ballots. I wonder what happens. Are they going to mysteriously find more ballots, Mr. Congressman? Are they going to find more ballots? Can you imagine what happened? Can you imagine? Just be very careful, be vigilant, and watch, and report whatever you see. Because, you know, this state, we love it. Went to school here, right? Went to college. We love it. But strange things have been known to happen, especially in Philadelphia. So send them a message that they'll never forget. This election is a choice between a Biden depression and a Trump super boom. We're going to have a boom. We're going to have the greatest economy ever. It's a choice between a deadly Biden lockdown. You know, he wants to lock it down. And by the way, tell your governor to open up your state, please.